it too, right?
Yeah, we're recording right now. We're
There you
good. All right. Case study number 1. Please state your name.
Trent Boyce.
Okay. So what kind of experience do you have outdoors?
Do a lot of hunting and fishing. Do a lot of quad riding. Deep into places where not many other people are. I try to go away from civilization as often and as far in as I can go.
How far, could you say you've been into the woods, or at least out away? So moreover, how when you're out on the trails or hunting and fishing, how often do you see a person?
Very rarely. So like deer hunting, for example, that's when I would say deer bear hunting is the deepest probably that I go. I drive until there's no more roads, hike in a few miles, and sometimes maybe I'll see another truck, on the way up to where I park, but I don't see anybody when I get where I'm going.
Okay, and then you're out in the Sierra Nevadas, right?
Correct.
Okay. So that's obviously a huge swath of land up there. And can you just describe what kind of terrain is out there?
Thick forest. Some of the places I go is kind of slag rock,
Okay.
Marble Mountain, stuff like that. Very, very steep terrain, very rough terrain. Most of it, I guess the best way to describe it would be untouched.
Okay.
Undisturbed.
Okay.
There's no trails, there's no nothing. You may see a game trail, but there's obviously no sidewalks, there's no, forestry cut trails or anything like that.
So no trails over 3 foot wide?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. So do you think it would be possible, in theory, for something as large as Sasquatch to be out in that area or areas like it?
Personally, no.
Okay.
I think that... So I would compare it to something So going into the forest, you can stumble upon animals, correct? You can stumble upon a deer.
Mm-hmm.
You could be walking your normal pace, like hiking to a tree stand or something like that, walking your normal pace, not worrying about what twig I'm stepping on or something like that. And you can stumble within, let's say, 50 yards of a bear or a deer or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
What you can't stumble upon, in my opinion, I never have, is a mountain lion.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about a mountain lion is a mountain lion sees you before you even know it's there.
Exactly.
Right. So, theoretically, anything bigger than a mountain... I don't think a bear could do that.
No.
A bear is twice the size of a mountain lion in most cases. There's no way that a bear could creep like that. If you've ever heard a bear come down a mountain...
It's like a freight train.
It's like someone pushed a boulder off the top of the mountain. It's just coming down,
And you've seen bear out on the trail?
I have, absolutely.
Okay. I just want to make sure on that one. So you don't think anything that large could be within...
Everything leaves something behind.
Yeah.
Humans, hunters go out there. They wear their scent lock. They wear their camo. They don't want to be detected whatsoever. Something falls out of their pocket, they leave it behind. They have to, relieve themselves. They leave something behind.
Mm-hmm.
I can go find evidence that there's mountain lions in the area. I may not physically see one because they're good at what they do.
Yeah.
But there's evidence.
Okay.
To me, there is no provable evidence that Sasquatch, Bigfoot, what have you, exists.
Okay. So you definitely categorize yourself as a skeptic on the subject.
Absolutely.
Okay. So now that we've established that, for the most part, you're unbiased about whether or not it exists or not, in the fact that, that's not going to affect how you think about the next couple questions.
Okay.
So the other question I wanted to ask you was, for this study that I'm researching, how do I put this? Why do you think that Sasquatch has become a mainstay in the American culture? It's on commercials, it's on T-shirts, it's using as like a branding kind of deal. Why do you think that image or that idea has sank in with us so much?
Because it's the unknown.
The unknown.
It's the unknown. it's something that, every American wants to make money off things or discover something that nobody else has. We're the first country to get to the moon because we were determined to do something that nobody else has.
Mm-hmm.
And I think most, if not all, Americans have that in their head. They want to go find something because someone said, no, that's not there.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't exist. Things like, they want to prove something. If you came up to me and said, you can't do that, I'm going to prove to you 5 times that I can.
Okay.
And I think it's part of determination. It's part of something funny to think about,
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's not like saying that there's Joe Blow, this guy lives out in the middle of the woods,
Mm-hmm.
He's out there, we promise you, but you won't see him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, it's not that. It's, usually a 14-foot tall, 14-foot tall, big, hairy guy that grunts a lot and has huge hands.
Yeah.
It's odd.
So it's, for you, at least, and in general within the culture, it's a symbol of the unknown, the frontier, because we've mostly run out of frontier here.
Yeah.
And this country was built on, taming the frontier, moving forward.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
do you think we've created it ourselves and are lying to ourselves? Or do you think that it was just a couple people that either saw something, quote, unquote, on that?
That's a difficult question to answer. I would have to say, in my personal opinion, I think it's something that someone came up with.
Yeah.
But with that being said, it would not be too unfathomable to think that someone was, extremely suffering from extreme dehydration in the woods, or,
Mm-hmm.
Ate a funky berry or a funky mushroom and saw some stuff that they can swear to you was real, but wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
If you're away from mankind and away from, someone to talk to for that long, I would not doubt you start losing your mind.
Oh, for sure. So, you believe that with our past ideals of what we do in this country and who we are, added to the folklore of, isolation and mind tricks, that we just saw an opportunity, we took it, and then we latched on and made it a symbol.
I would say so, yeah.
Okay. If, hypothetically speaking, if it was to come out that it was real, would that change your perception of our culture and how we perceive that symbol? Would it be less interesting to you if it was a real animal and then they started using it?
I would have to see some very, very serious evidence for that. Because I'm such a firm anti-believer. But if someone seriously, because honestly, that's the other thing with it being so heavy in the media and all this other stuff. There's television shows about it. There's
movies.
Websites about it. There's movies about it. There's marketing tools that use it, so on and so forth. I've heard of stories where I think it was on one of the TV shows. I'm not an avid watcher. It's just a scroll through the channel type thing. Where people on internet websites such as eBay, what have you, have been selling, claiming to have something of Bigfoot, and then they sell it for, let's say, $1,000 or $100,000.
Okay. And
then they get it. The person who bought it gets it in the mail and goes, okay, it's a costume. What's the point here?
Yeah.
So even if it was right there in front of my face, I would still tilt my head and kind of, I don't know, really?
Yeah.
Because it's been so long. This is not a folklore that started yesterday.
Yeah.
It's been going on for a long time.
Now, would it coming out as real, like if some dude rolled up with a pickup truck and a trailer and it's right there in front of your face and you can see it, smell it, touch it, blah, 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 would that take away from the allure of the symbol that we use for it? Like, do you think it would be kind of like...
I think it would become a bigger marketing tool.
Would it? It wouldn't be a bittersweet moment?
Well, that depends on the person, but I think for overall the general public, I think it would become a bigger marketing tool because there would be, oh look, it's real. Here it is. We're gonna put it in a cage or display that we found it in on the strip in Vegas or in some fancy hotel somewhere or whatever.
Okay.
But I think they would use it more in their favor, and people would eat into that.
Okay. So I know. So our society is based a lot on symbols. I mean, we have a lot we have mascots for all our teams, or we have the letters and all that. Everything's covered in advertisements.
Yeah.
So having it being used as a bigger marketing tool, I think the better question would be, do you think it would take away from the romance of our affinity towards the unknown and the frontier? Like, would that be the very end? Like, there's nothing else to find?
No,
or do you think we'd just keep going?
I don't think that would be the very end. I don't think it would ever stop.
So we're just going to keep going?
Absolutely. Another thing to compare it to would be ghost stories.
Oh.
Everybody has their opinion on ghost stories. Personally, okay. I kind of go, okay, and every time I see that. If someone can, and they same thing as Bigfoot, they have TV shows where they say, look, we found a ghost, and they put the little walkie-talkie or whatever it is, and the ghost says, get out. Yeah. Some people go, oh my gosh, it's real. Some people go, okay, this is ridiculous, can we change the channel? So it's it would just be, we pick something else. Exactly. We move on. Okay. It would just be, okay, that's cool, wow, it'd be huge for maybe a year, and then it'd just be gone. Yeah. It's like if we could get an animal to talk. Wow, you can talk.
And then the next day
it's just normal.
So is that from our fast-paced lifestyles or the way that we process information?
I don't think lifestyle. Well, lifestyle may have something to do with it, but I'd say it's the way that we process information. Because it's the unknown. You don't know it, then all of a sudden you know it, and then it's okay, cool. Okay. And it's like that with anything, technology. Oh my gosh, look at the computer. I can type words on a screen and email it to someone across the country, and it only takes 4 hours to get there. Mm-hmm. Now we have a cellular device that, when it first came out, it was the biggest thing ever, and now we all take it for granted and carry it in our pocket every day and use it for dumb stuff. Okay. It's just a cycle, I think.
Mm. Well, that shows a lot more about who we are as a people in that sense.
We're always looking for something new, and then we get it, and it's, okay, now what else?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
We went to the moon. Okay, now where can we go? Can we go to Mars? Can we live on Mars?
Well, that's another question. So, another question: if you're like close buddy of yours shows up, you're out camping, okay, and they find it, same situation you see as the trailer scenario, right?
Someone I trust is what you mean.
Exactly. Okay. And you get to see it, confirm everything. It's 100% real, right? Knowing how we would process that information and then it would become nothing again, would you release it just to hold on to that ideal?
Ooh, that's a difficult one.
Because there's so much behind it, and little kids are into it, people are into it. Like, given the option, what do you think would be better?
I think if it was released, if let's say I did choose to release it, people are it's gonna become a serious. All the skeptics are gonna be, they're gonna be out there in the woods looking for it. Yeah. If someone can prove it to me, you bet your bottom dollar I'm gonna go out there and go, I wonder if I can find one. The only reason that I'm not, into that now, or the skeptics aren't into that now, is because I feel there's no solid evidence. There's no concrete proof. But if it was in my hands,
just for the symbolism, just for the allure of it, would you let it go?
Just for the marketing type side, is that what you mean? Just for the folklore tale of it being proven or not?
Like, not even if it, like, just like it's out there. It's still the frontier. Would you protect that frontier ideal for the better of our society, or would you just end it all? Like, do you think that
I would hope that I would protect it.
Yeah, just to keep your ideals.
I can't tell you what I would do in the moment.
Yeah.
But, because you could probably sell that idea for a large amount of money, and then there's your life. But as far as protecting it, I would say, just leave it be. It's been this long.
Let it be a tale.
Just let it be a tale.
Because, we do hold our folk tales and folklores very closely to us.
Absolutely. There's still a reason that there's, all of the children's folk tales of the leprechaun, the Easter bunny, that's what I compare it to. But
so, in a sense, saving the innocence of the culture,
leaving it kind of symbolic.
Okay, just so we can still strive towards that kind of frontier idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's about it. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And that was our interview with Trent Boyce, a local outdoorsman from the area, and his take on why Sasquatch has become so important and ingrained in our culture, and why it was used and still is used as a tool for marketing. I just wanted to go in depth for part of this project and explain kind of the steps of why I interviewed, what was the point of the interview, what it means, and the analysis of it itself. So first off, I just wanted to reiterate and identify and explain why Bigfoot became such an icon in American pop culture. So as Americans, we can definitely say that we have an individualistic idea of ourselves. We're out there on the frontier, manifest destinies type stuff. So having Bigfoot as kind of this symbol to explain why we keep searching for the next frontier and using it as almost like a scapegoat definitely works for us as Americans. And it's an not imaginary, but a frontier that we can never really reach, so we can keep striving for it. So in a sense, it's just an extension of what we've always done and are still doing today. It's romantic to think about and I suppose just think about and enjoy. So I believe the fact that it gives us our own little getaway to what's next that we can never fully conquer is very attractive to us, especially. Next, I just wanted to excuse me, I wanted to go over the methodology behind the research. So I wanted to do an interview with someone in the field who's been in the outdoors and who hasn't quote unquote seen Bigfoot, but get their take on the idea behind it. And I just wanted to see someone who is in direct contact with the outdoors and our frontier, quote unquote frontiers that are still left. So that's what I wanted to use as my methodology. I came up with the idea just because I saw excuse me, I had just saw a picture or on some logo or something of Bigfoot, and I thought, oh, I wonder why that's a thing. So that was my idea. I had the interest, and then I just researched a little bit with what companies use it as a marketing tool, and then I just went for the interview and then kind of asked a couple basic questions, try not to lead him on, and see what he thought. So I'm just gonna quickly check over what I need to do. So in the research project itself, in the requirements, it is quoted as saying as thoughtfully represent relevant empirical data. And I feel like through the articles that I'm going to link below, so you can check out for yourself and see, why Bigfoot is, a big marketing tool. I also wanted to get the hands on, like I had said before, the interview. And I supplemented that for empirical data because in this, area, there's not really a lot of data per se. So it's hard to, actually find it. So I went with the interview just to get, a recorded interview and linguistic data points for this project. So that's that. let's see what's next. So I just want to also reiterate again the linguistic factor that is, and also the social and economic factors. With Bigfoot, it was a legend, which was kind of our culture and, our ritualistic idea, the frontier, and, something's out there that we'll never find kind of thing. And then, as Americans do, we monetize it. And then it turned into a marketing idea like Jack Link's beef jerky messing with Sasquatch, or all the shows on TV, or the t-shirts or the hats or the companies, that are offered that have the logo itself. So that was definitely part of the economic factor in this. Linguistically, it was with Native Americans for the most part, from what I've read, is it was handed down as a story, not written down, obviously. And then later on with European settlers, it did get written down as mountain men and wild men, and then later transformed into what we know now. I'm trying to think how to word this next. It's saying discuss the importance of your project and findings. I think this just shows us who we are inside through a lens that we can see inside ourselves. We have this infatuation with open space, wild, everything wild. We live in an era where there's just concrete jungles everywhere, and there's nothing really big, expansive, and wild left, except for Alaska. But even that still has man-made roads and aqueducts and pipelines through it. So it's not like it used to be. So I think having a symbol, especially a symbol that we can throw out and everybody instantly knows what it is from legend before, and use that to kind of supplement our needs for a frontier, I think that definitely shows how we are connected to the land more than we think, and that the land itself embodies our perception as who we are as a culture. So I think that's very important, just being able to reflect on ourselves, and that was really the importance of the project. So let's see. I just want to go over the sources I did real quick. I will link them below, so you'll be able to see it with the video, and you can check it out and, make sure everything's quote unquote legit. So the first one to use was definitely what I mentioned before, the Jack Link's beef jerky. They had a whole campaign thing where like a couple guys out camping had some Jack Link's beef jerky, and then decided that they saw a wild Sasquatch or Bigfoot or whatever, and then they started messing with them, trying to give them beef jerky, and in the end Bigfoot gets the better of them, because wild creature, he's like 8 feet tall or something, so he would. So it was kind of a fun little marketing thing, and that's what I noticed really at first. And then also the company Red Robin, they have the restaurants. They use the Red Robin yum type thing. They had a guy on a mountaintop yell at Red Robin, and then there was a Sasquatch across that yelled it back. So you can see in each little marketing scheme, you can see that it's like in the wild, in the bush, and then this creature appears. So it's a repeating theme. And then also I wanted to mention the Finding Bigfoot, which is, I watched an episode. It's ridiculous, but it appeals to what we want to see, quote unquote see. So, and then the last thing I use, just my academic sources. I didn't have much, so I just used the interview from my interview with Trent, and that was about it. So it was an interesting project. It was really hard to find things, I guess, to how would I put this? It was just hard to find really anything on it. It was hard to contact, again, quote unquote, researchers and experts in the field, because the field really doesn't exist. So I mean, I was kind of out there, so I just kind of worked with what I had. So I knew a person who was an avid outdoorsman, got their point of view, and then saw how companies exploit it to make $1. So that was about it. But overall, it was a fun little project. I think honestly, I don't think he's real. But it'd be cool if it was. And, I think, like Trent said, we ought to just leave it alone and keep it a myth. Even if we did find one or something, I think it's worth more to us as a legend than a fact, whether it's real or not. So I think that, all the Bigfooters out there kind of out of luck, but keep on searching and have a good time. And that's about it. So appreciate the listen. Drop a like and maybe a subscribe down below, and I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one, guys.